What up, Copper family? Thank you
What's
so
going
much
on?
for joining us. I'm Tyson.
I'm Casey.
I'm Bob, and this is Elliot Norris, my mustache.
Elliot Norris. I didn't know I had a middle name. That's awesome. So, Bob, seriously, I really appreciate you joining us today. It means a lot. We've had a lot of people as of late, especially through TikTok, ask us about how to style beards and our mustaches and everything. And obviously, I'm trying to grow mine out finally. And I know Casey's is a lot thicker than mine, but yours is, I mean,
Yeah, I don't have I'm nowhere near Elliot there, but
but so I'm grateful that you're here and to teach all of us how to better grow, style, manicure, and take care of their mustaches. So I know we have a lot of people in here right now, so why don't we say hi and then we'll start if that's okay.
yeah.
So what's up, E? How you doing, buddy? He's always first.
They call me E. What's up?
Hey, Mark. How you doing, buddy?
Mark.
We got Aldemir. We have Mr. Nick. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Ellie. Let's speak of the devil right here. And so, you know what they say, if you miss the bull, you get the horn. In case with Robert, you'll get the stash. What's up, Jason? And David says, excited for this one. I've always struggled with my stash. And he has a really nice stash. There's some really good mustaches.
Number one fan is watching it.
Yeah,
Real
cute
quick.
little girl.
Hello.
Hi again.
Hi, go watch it out there.
Then we got Matt. Obviously, we know Matt has a great mustache. We got Daniel, who has a great mustache.
Daniel.
How you doing, Daniel? And so why don't we start? Let's start with the basics, and then at the very end we'll do some styling so that you can. I'll put you up on the solo mode so you can show everyone. And if you guys have questions, Casey is amazing at seeing the questions, and he'll star them. And then as he is styling his mustache at the very end, we will ask those questions.
One favor I ask, if you can put a Q in front of the question, I will definitely see it then right away. So
Perfect.
If you can put a Q in front of your question, if not, I'll try to find it, but try to put that Q in front of the questions.
My microphone's high today. So I know this is a basic elementary question, but there's a lot to growing a mustache. Mm-hmm. So how does one start growing a mustache?
Well, first, stop shaving, right?
Right.
But after that, what I recommend is hide it in a beard. Because if you don't, and you're like, well, I'm just going to grow a mustache, you'll have a tendency to try to trim around it. And the next thing you know, it's going to be a little sliver, and then you'll shave it off. So make a time-oriented goal. Grow a beard, because this is my first big mustache and I didn't know what hair I was going to need. So I grew a beard first, and then I started pulling it up, and I was looking, I was like, okay, I need the hair through here. So when I took the beard off, I didn't take the mustache in too close.
So it's a little ahead of when you're.
Oh, it is? Okay. It'll be okay.
No,
You're time traveling. Okay.
I know, but is that okay? Because I can't tell.
No, it's fine. You're fine. You're fine, honey.
She's watching out.
I know, she's like,
she's watching out
before you're saying them. What are the lotto numbers?
I think that's the thing, is there's a lot of us. I know there's a lot of guys who because mustaches are in style. I know. I mean, they're in style and they're coming in style. And so, like, I'll walk around the like, I was just at a grocery store and I saw lots of beards, but I saw a lot of mustaches too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right.
That's been my goal, because there's so many beautiful beards. Not enough guys are like, I'm going to try the mustache alone. Because they're afraid that if they don't have a big mustache, then, I don't have. But there's like 40, 50 different styles of mustaches,
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be this big.
Well, everyone's going to have a different mustache, just like everyone's a little different. You're going to have a different stash.
So I just love that you just said, just let all your facial hair grow.
Yeah.
So then what's next?
So one of the things I would recommend, I know in my own journey, that face wash, head shampoo can dry out the skin, dry out the hair. So take care of all of your facial hair with some kind of beard wash. It's designed for your face. And if like me, for 13 years, I used head shampoo. It'd get out to about 3 months. It'd be itchy and dry. I'd shave it off, right?
Yeah.
But when I changed and used beard care, it was like night and day. So that's the first thing I recommend to everybody is start taking care of it with a beard wash.
Yeah.
Because you need a certain amount of oil for that hair to be healthy, for the skin to be healthy, you know, for the microbes and everything. You want to make sure that you're taking care of it. I had horrible patchy dry skin under here from using an anti-dandruff shampoo. So I'm like, no, it's hair. And then once I started using beard care, it went away and I stopped plucking it.
Isn't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
And what about when I say be aware of surroundings? What comes?
So definitely, if you're a smoker, right? You know, the tar coming out can stain the mustache. If you do bonfires, stuff like that, open flames, you can definitely singe it. Eating is one of probably the biggest threats, I would say, because my hair is long enough that it's going to cover my mouth and get inside. Now, I'm not worried about getting it dirty, but if you get it stuck in your teeth or bite it off, you know, facial hair grows about 1/2 inch a month on the average. So if you bite off 1 inch, you just lost, you know, like 2 months out of here. And then next thing you know, you're going to have a zigzag pattern. And then, you know, you got to trim it all up or start over again.
Yeah. That's why you need to train it. So how does one start training it?
So once what I did was once the hair got to probably just past the upper lip, I started taking a little bit of wax on the leading edge and just started pushing it up and away from my mouth, combing it, brushing it. One of the things I started doing later that I should have done earlier is while it's a little damp is maybe blow dry it and start brushing it back. And that's what I did a little while ago. Otherwise, you know, it goes wherever it wants.
Yeah, so I noticed I'm training my mustache on the left side right here. I face sleep. I don't know. I can't help it. My face just all of a sudden gets covered by the pillow. I'm surprised I'm alive and I haven't suffocated. But because of that, my mustache right here pops up and this one stays down. And so how do I get rid of that?
Well, when it's wet after the shower, if you're not going to style it, use a beard oil, a beard balm, you know, get it in there. And while it's still a little damp, is continually brushing it and blow drying it back. And then after a little while, it'll start to help. It doesn't happen overnight. It does take a little bit. Yep. That's a big thing. Is you got to have patience.
Yeah, that's another thing is patience for sure. Have you ever felt like people are judging themselves because of the style of your mustache?
Yes. So when I'm at a competition, like this Saturday, I'm going to be the MC for a competition in Orange County, Virginia.
Oh, wait.
And last year, as I went around, I'm like, oh, you got a mustache. You should do the thing. They're like, oh, I couldn't compete against you. And I'm like, no, I'm not competing. But you got to understand there's so many different categories of mustaches, right? It's like, think of it like a dog show, right? You have dogs that compete against their breed. And then, you know, afterwards they have like a best in show. So if you're doing a chevron, rock a great chevron. If you're doing a petite handlebar, if you're doing a pencil mustache, a dolly, an English, a Hungarian, so on and so forth, then, you know, do the best one you can.
He's talking about how he chews on his, and that's why he has a zigzag thing going on.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
And he does too. He chews on his constantly. Yeah,
for me, every time it got near my mouth, I had to say, no, I want to, because I made a commitment to a 1 year, year. And so I said, I don't want to do anything, no trimming, nothing. I, just take care of it, push it up and out of the way. So if you want to eat, you can knife hand it. You can take your 2 fingers, spread it. Or Mustache Mate has a wonderful tool. My last one kind of got lost. My 7-year-old was using it as a prop, but that pushes your mustache up and it helps so that you're not chewing on it when you eat. It feels really weird in the beginning. You're out, you're doing this, but it becomes second nature. I went to Five Guys today and I was holding a double bacon cheeseburger, was doing this, and I was biting into it. And I look over and one of the guys behind the counter, he walked over, turned his back, was doing this and doing like that. He was showing the other guy how I was eating that big burger with a mustache. So
the only thing that I have a hard time eating is it seems like soup or ice cream or anything like that, where it just shows all the white from the ice cream. You're like, I hate it.
Like I said, mine's long enough now where when I push it up and out of the way, it kind of stays out of the way. Some of the little hairs in the middle might get some, but most of it will stay out of the way when I do this. So I still drink milk and I can drink Guinness, no problem. A lot of people are like, how do you eat? Or I bet you can't eat. I'm like, dude, I would be dead if I couldn't eat.
I'm eating. Promise. I promise I'm eating.
So quick question is Jason wants to know what style of mustache do you have?
So right now it's just kind of a natural. If I bring it down a little bit more, down across here and go out, or maybe bring it around, it would be like a walrus. But I knew I was going to style it, so I blow dried it and brushed it back, because that's one of several steps I try to combat the tips pointing forward.
Mm-hmm.
The more I go back towards my ears, as I bring it together, it doesn't lean forward as much.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, may the fourth be with you. So do you take any supplements? Do you take anything to help aid in your growth or skincare or hair care overall?
I don't. I eat like a 15-year-old. I would eat McDonald's all the time if I could.
Supplements? Do you take anything to help?
So I was just watching the live night and I saw someone say, "May the beard be with you."
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Yes, they did. Okay. We did a whole "May the Force be with you" type thing this morning.
You got a fan out there, Vato.
There are things you can take. I just haven't. I do drink a lot of water. I drink about a gallon a day.
Mm-hmm.
I do exercise a couple times a week. I'm doing the St. Jude push-ups. So I'm doing push-ups every day, and that's supposed to be better for you. The healthier you are, just the better all around. If you're not hydrated, the hair could dry out. So it's a good idea to, drink water.
So, how often? No, I'll ask that in a different time. But how long does it take for you to grow yours? Like at the length it is now, how long would you say it took you?
Let me see. What's that? About 12 inches? I don't know. No, right now it's about 5 inches. So from clean shaven, it might take me about 10 months.
Okay.
10 to 11 months. The last time I trimmed it, when I did an imperial, the tips came all the way up here. And it was behind my ear. So I trimmed it to make a better imperial. But yeah, this went all the way like back here.
Genetics are crazy, man, that you can do.
Yeah, I've trimmed off 11 and a half inches in total. Yeah, is it 11? It's either 11 and a half or 13 and a half over 5 major trims.
So, you know how there's a community for beards?
Mm-hmm.
Is there one for mustaches?
Beards and mustaches, it's all kind of together. You have your beard guys, and then you have your mustache guys, and you have your beard guys who do a lot of stuff with the mustaches, your partial beards, your musketeers. I have found that they all kind of run in the same crowds. There are less mustache guys, like the Mid-Atlantic Championship I went to in Richmond. There was 3 of us in the styled mustache category.
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok.
Yeah, when you look at like the beard guys, I think we had more people doing the artistic, realistic beards and mustaches than we had in the actual mustaches. So, what, honey?
I know I keep interrupting, but
what do you need?
it's a little boring because I'm not a boy, so I'm not wearing a mustache.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of want to stop watching though.
Okay, we'll go watch something else.
Maybe I'll open up a new tab.
There you go. Open a new tab. You gave him the views, so
Can't I just save this?
you can save it and go back and watch it later.
Okay. I feel like I'm a little bored watching this because I only have mustache. I can't.
We appreciate that view later too.
She must have a dad who does content
it's just
creation.
her and I tonight, so
No, that's awesome.
She must have a dad who does the content creation.
Is really great. Pretty much everybody shares their experiences, and which I thought was great because, and I've run across people that are like, that beard care crap is snake oil, and I'm like, no, it's for me, this is how it changed my facial hair, experience. So that's what I do. I share my experiences.
I love it.
So how many categories are there in a normal competition for mustache?
Well, like at nationals,
just mustache.
Just mustache. So it depends on how many people register, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, you could have just Englishes. You could have just Hungarians, just dollies. You could have natural. You could have styled, mustache. You could have freestyle. What I've been in competitions where there weren't enough. So what they did was they said one styled category. So that was dollies and Englishes and Hungarians and closed loops and freestyles and, everything that you would use an aid to style your mustache with.
Okay.
And then natural was just all natural mustaches.
Sure. Okay.
It's nuts.
So it kind of just depends on who registers and what they're registering for. Can you register for a certain category? Sorry.
It depends if they get enough pre-registration. So what you don't want to have is a bunch of categories with just one guy.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So they might say, well, we got, one English and one dolly and one freestyle guy and one imperial guy and all that. Let's just put them in one style handlebar. Yeah. So I think Nationals in 2020 had like 4 styled handlebar categories. So all the Englishes went against all the Englishes, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Okay.
So for anyone who's starting out, what would you recommend?
Like grow a beard.
Yeah, grow a beard.
Train it. And you got to have a lot of patience. So I had a lot of days where I'd be styling my mustache. One side would go forward and one side would go back, and it would be frustrating. And I'm like, I'm just going to cut it off. But, I'd wash it out and go with a maintenance day. So I would just use a beard oil and a beard balm. And I'd say, you know what, I'll try again tomorrow. And, but once I got my routine down, if I stuck to that, generally I could do, several different mustaches. I'd have where I'd be trying to do an imperial and one side would be tipping forward. I'm like, well, today's closed loops. And I would bend it over and just pinch it in the back. You can even do rollers, but getting started, take care of it. Wash it with something less harsh than head shampoo. I recommend a beard wash, but not everybody, their skin dries out. So, if it's not for you, don't use it. Use a beard oil and use a beard balm, but not on the days that you style your mustache with wax, because wax is oil soluble. And just every day you go through, and then after a couple weeks, you get a growth spurt and you're like, wow, it's sticking out a little bit further.
It really does work that way too.
Mm-hmm.
At least for my beard, I swear, like overnight it grew, and I'm like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah,
I really do. I feel that happens a lot with me.
Some of those hairs will hide underneath, I think. And then once you get them separated and get them all worked out to where they're supposed to be, they'll kind of, you get that length off of it then.
Sorry.
Hair falls out. Shedding is a normal part of the process. The average mustache has 600 hairs. So if you're brushing, you're like, oh my God, there's 4 hairs. It's all right.
All right, so this is what we'll do. So I'm going to put you on solo screen, and I will start asking the questions that people have asked.
Okay.
And and you can just kind of explain what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So
you're kind of cutting in and out real quick. I don't know if it's like that with everyone else.
It might be. I don't have the greatest internet, and depending on what she's doing. So if you can hear me, start with a dry, clean mustache. What I've been doing is I will either brush it or comb it back, or blow dry it and brush it, comb it back. I try to do that towards the ear so that as I'm styling it, prevents it from tipping forward or hopefully turning forward. I do comb it usually before I style it to try to get the hairs aligned. I don't like to twist. I did that in the beginning, but I found it put a lot of tension. And if you bunch up the hair and you need to put a comb in later, you run the risk of yanking. So there are different waxes. Do not put any oil or balm. Mustache wax is oil soluble. So like me, first 5 months, I was putting beard oil in and beard balm and then trying to put wax in. And after an hour, I'm like, why isn't it firming up? And then somebody told me, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. So I did a dry, clean mustache.
Nice.
There are different levels of waxes as far as their hold. So light, medium, and strong, and they imply what you should be able to get out of it. Now, if you're trying to do an English with a light mustache, it's just going to drop. The hairs may not stick together a whole bunch. Waxes can be beeswax. They can be beeswax, pine rosin. I think I have one that comes in a tube that's water soluble. and it feels more like toothpaste, but it dries, and you can definitely do stuff with it. So like the polys that I have here from Copper John's, usually they come with like a guitar pick, or you can scrape them out with your finger. With light and mediums, typically at room temperature, their consistency allows you to scrape them right out. The strongs, you may need an external heat source, like say a hair dryer on low heat, passing right over it for 15 to 20 seconds. What you want is the wax to look shiny. You don't want lava, right? Because then it gets all clumpy. And if it's a really, really strong one and you're putting it in and you need to make an adjustment, you may want to hit it with a hair dryer real quick and then let it cool off to firm up again. So I typically do 3 passes each side and then a 4th just on the end. Give it a couple minutes to firm up, and then I go back over it with the finishing layer. What's recommended is that and this smells amazing.
Yeah, I love pulleys.
So do I.
Okay,
one of my favorites.
It's recommended you use a pea size, right? And now I got a pretty thick mustache, so sometimes I do more than a pea size, but that's about a pea size. Now to show you, squeeze it, and if you see how my fingers are sticking together, right? That's room temperature, right? But the heat source is now going to be my fingers, right? Coating the fingers, warming it. Now look at that. Right?
Okay.
I've changed its consistency. I've made it more pliable. Now, I usually will put a little bit of tension on the hair, start in the middle.
So do you know who Miss K is?
Yes. Hello. How are you?
Thank you, Miss K. I agree.
Go in the middle. And one of the reasons to go back to the middle time and time again is as you breathe, you're going to loosen the wax a little bit. So by adding your wax from the middle and going out, it'll hold that wax in there a little bit better. I typically, once I'm done, do not have to add additional wax. All right, so you saw I had my fingers coated, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much gone. It's now been transferred. It's been transferred into the mustache. So the non-wax side and the wax side, that's just one pass.
So how about for someone who doesn't have that size of a mustache, would you recommend half of what you did, like someone my size?
You might want to start with half.
Just it's kind of trial by error.
Yeah. So because what you want to do is maybe start off smaller and then maybe work your way up, or you can start smaller and just do multiple layers. But if your mustache is smaller, just start in the middle and go along the leading edge. And you might just want to coat it a little bit and then maybe run a comb through and pinch it.
Okay.
So I'm going to
coat
the fingers.
I see you're working that down your thumb a little ways. Yep. Do you always work it down your thumb that far?
I do, because I'm trying to coat underneath as well.
Okay.
That's why I get on multiple fingers. You can see a lot's already come off.
Yeah.
Agreed, Diablo. David says it's incredible that Robert is sharing his technique with us.
Oh yeah, this is awesome, Bob. Thank you.
I love sharing because I know how frustrating it was for me to sit here for an hour and 15 minutes in the morning, like, oh my God. And I would, what I would do is I'd get more wax, I'd put it on, and it wouldn't let it come back to that room temperature consistency. Plus I had beard oil in. And so it just would be pasty. And I'd be like, yesterday it looked a whole lot better. And I'm also curving it towards my ear a little bit that if I decide to do with an imperial, it's not going to tilt forward, or hopefully it won't tilt forward. Now there's a little hair, and that's fine. I didn't yank it. It's part of the process. It sheds, it comes out. And one of the other things I recommend too is often wipe your hands. You don't want a lot of wax buildup, because later on, if you have real tacky hands and you're going in and you're making an adjustment, your hands will stick to the mustache. And as you pull it apart, it'll separate it. And that can be super frustrating, right? When you're like, oh, it looks so beautiful. Let me just pinch it. Oh, no. But it's all right. If that happens, you just work it out.
Chris.
Run it out again. All right. So this is my third pass with the same amount. I'm just going to sit here for a little bit and smell it. It's good. It's good.
It is. I enjoy that one.
So there's the amount. You can see it's sticky. Warm it to make it more pliable. And I'm going to go right back to that middle.
So far for that one side, you've done 3 pea-sized.
Yep. Sometimes I comb it just to spread it. It all depends on how the mustache is doing, how the wax is doing as I'm putting it in. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then I'm just slightly curving it towards my ear. And I might fix that bend, but the wax is pretty much gone. And then usually what I do is I will switch hands. So I do 3 primary, and I'll do a little less, because where I want to put that is right there on the ends. Okay. So you can see. Now that is what they might recommend for a pea size, and mine was probably 2 times bigger than that.
Okay.
But you can see it's just as sticky. And what I'm going to do is kind of go right here, right on the ends. What I'm trying to do is get the end hair sticky, right? So they start sticking to each other. Because one of the things I try to do is align the hairs. Mine looks a lot more impressive from the front, but from the side, it's a little bit thinner. But that's why I'm just like, anybody tries to pass me, I'm like, nope, nope. Right?
Right.
So when I first started growing a beard, there was a lady at my work that I've known forever, like back in my Army days. And she hadn't seen me since I started growing my beard. So I guess it was a little bit of a shock to her. And I was walking down the hall, and I could see she was looking right at my beard, right? My beard was down here. And I said, hey, my eyes are up here. I laughed. She didn't, but it's all right.
So there's 3 things I can tell right now just from watching and listening to you that I've been doing wrong. 1, I used oil before.
Yep.
2, I'm not using enough, probably.
And mustache was wet, not dry.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Some of them you might be able to do while it's wet. I just know I've had my best results when my mustache was dry. So there was the 3 primary passes with a 4th one where I try to coat a little bit back here and then get a little more on the ends. And I might pinch them. I might bend it up. I might do a Hungarian. I'm going to see how the mustache reacts. Now I could take it and just bend it back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's back towards the ear. I can leave it like this. There's no right or wrong way to do it, right? You could just stick all the hairs outward, and somebody's like, what kind of mustache is that? It's freestyle. That's what I decided to do. I did it because I wanted to. I had a mustache one time that just came down and did like that. And this guy at my work's like, what kind of mustache is that? I said, a mustache you don't have. Plain and simple.
All right. So while you're doing that, there's Jermaine Spears.
All right.
Where can I find out more about these styles you're talking about when it comes to beards or mustache styles?
So I've run across a couple of charts, right? But that like list them out, and they show you what a chevron is, what a boxcar is, what a petite handlebar is, what a Fu Manchu is, all of those things. If you go out and search the, I think it's Beard Champ USA or Beard Team USA, you can go in and look at the categories they had for last year. And it'll tell you all the different things. Like for mustaches, you cannot have any other facial hair, right? And they tell you that you cannot draw hair from beyond 3/4 of an inch from the corner of your mouth, and you cannot have hair from the corner of your mouth down, right? And during pre-judging, they actually measured me. So they get pretty serious about it. And when it's the beard guys, it's from like the bottom of the lip to where the hair is. And if you want to be in the 12-inch category and you're at 12 1/4, they're like, either you got to go to the 12 to 18 or you need to trim it up. And they usually have barbers there.
Oh, wow. That's a little.
Yeah. I mean, like from walrus to cookie duster. I mean, there's so many different mustache styles out there. And your mustache doesn't have to be as long as mine to be just as good as mine. Right. And, you could keep it up close around the mouth and just make a beautiful chevron, or let it all go over the mouth and make a walrus.
Yeah. I'm just still I can't believe how the wax that was used to style one side. I thought that was just going to be one side, and then you're going to switch over the 3 times, and then the 4th one to get that. I thought that's very enlightening.
Yeah, that's been my new base because one of the things I have found, because my mustache is long, is as I'm styling this side, I'm trying to emulate, I think is the right word, this bend, right? Because I know my mustache, this side likes to go down and out, and this side likes to go out like that. So I have to find a compromise. And I might do this one, and maybe it wants to be more like this, which is not as thick. So then I have to go back and try to fix this one or make this one thicker, you know?
Okay.
And that's why I do one side versus the other. Now, some guys, they'll do them both at the same time, and then they'll run a comb through each side, and they'll take their fingers and do it like that. Me, this is the way I do it. I call it the pinch and slide. Pinch it and slide the wax on like that. And I'm using my fingers to keep those hairs aligned. If you can see it, I'm trying to get all the hairs. Everything's reversed. But I'm trying to get all the hairs on top of each other and fall in line instead of being like this, you know, all crazy. And I think that shows it a little bit better. So now I'm going to do the right side.
You should make the new TikTok dance, the pinch and slide.
Yeah, no doubt. The pinch and slide.
Aldemir likes to call his the flavor savior.
All right, so I think I got the same amount. All right, pinch it.
Yeah, I think Jeremy said 3 pea-size amounts of wax. I'm not using near enough. I'm the same thing.
Well, it depends on your mustache.
Yeah.
And what you're trying to achieve. Now, if I was doing in English, I would be styling the mustache kind of up like this, as high as I can. And then as
I'm all nodding my head like everyone can see. I'm like, oh yeah.
It's gonna sag, you know, so I would do it differently. But I'm running my hand down it to keep those hairs aligned.
Okay.
And that's what I'm doing on the back side, is just trying to make sure they're aligned. Now, as you get more wax in, what I have found is if the hairs are not quite aligned, you'll feel what I call like a knot, like this on the backside. And then I just take my nail and try to work it loose a little bit. And if I can't, I might take a comb through real gently. Yeah, you don't want to be all like, I'm going to comb this out, right? Ooh. So the other side is, how do you get the wax out? I've had people tell me, just run hot water on it. I'm like, you don't think I didn't already try that in 3 years? Just put some, shampoo on it. I'm like, the best thing you can do if you use a wax and you want to help soften it up is put a couple of drops of beard oil in it and then work it through. All right.
So I think this is Pain Train, if you know him.
Yes. Pain Train, the transition master.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
My toes.
Does a mustache like that automatically make you more handsome?
No, I was handsome already. This is just an extension of my handsomeness. He had to grow a mustache to be handsome. Your wife tagged me in that video out there doing backflips and ninja training for his transitions. I know what you're up to.
Yeah, he's a firefighter. I have a lot of respect for that guy.
Yeah, out of Long Island, I think.
Yeah.
And I believe he was in the Army. At least he was wearing a Ranger shirt.
Well, thank you for your service.
And so Vato's in here. But David asks, what trimmer do you recommend for trimming a stash? I have Beardscape Pro V2. Is that a good one?
I would recommend sharp scissors, right? Because your trimmers will never be as sharp as good scissors. And I only trim the ends. And I only do that after I go, a couple of hairs look like they're out of place. Let me give it 3 weeks. And the reason I say 3 weeks is you've been watching me style it. Am I styling it the same way? Or did I flip some hairs? Because, the longest part looks like it comes from here, but this has to be really long. So if I accidentally trim the middle finger off, right? Yeah. And now it's like this. And the next day I look at it, I'm like, I got to trim the other ones to make it even. Then I got to trim the other side. And who's ever trimmed their beard and you're like, oh, I'm going to trim up the neck. And then you look over and you go, I'm going to trim up this one. Wait, I got to keep going. And next thing you know, you're goatee, right?
Yeah. And here is
Dagan, what's up, man?
another awesome mustache in the community. What's up, Dagan?
And then now, while you're putting on those, to rehash for those who are coming in, he uses 3 of those per side, and then a fourth pea-sized fourth one that gets the corner or the edge.
And go right here in the middle. Work your way out. That, and you get to smell this amazing scent every single time.
Yeah, Pulleys is one of my favorites. So Josue asked, if wax is used almost daily, which type of beard wash should I use, stripping or light wash?
Well, you could probably use either. If you don't put beard oil in it, you may find that you have to, rinse, wash, and repeat like 3-4 times. What I do is, as I'm washing it, I will take my fingernail underneath and I'll kind of like scrape it, and then I'll wash it, and then I'll kind of do it again. And if I find any wax residue, I'm like, all right, I'm going to wash it again. And that's even after I've used a dedicated beard oil for breaking the wax down. It depends on what the wax is, because I have found the beard washes, and I guess you could speak to this, is they will be made of oils. Some have, sunflower oil, stuff like that. And
yes,
that
ours has argan and castor and a few others. Absolutely.
So, and this is why I keep an eye on both sides. I do one side at a time.
Is Bob and Dagan's mustache related in some way?
Might be. Is he out of Michigan?
Texas.
He's out of Texas, Dallas.
All right. So now I've done the 3, both sides, with a 4th just on the end on this side. So I'm going to take a much smaller amount.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to put that up here on this, because I probably got the least amount of wax, and a little more on the ends. And I'll go through, and as it's setting.
I just think it's amazing how little I knew about styling. Like, I thought I knew a lot, and seeing you do this with the 4 times around with the amount, it just shows me how much I've been taught today. So thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, my way suits me very well, and I learned that from watching other people doing it and then adapting it and doing my own method, the pinch and slide, because a lot of guys, they'll twist it up and try to bend it back. And when I used to do that, one would go forward and one would go back. Plus, it made it harder if I needed to adjust, because in the beginning, as you're eating, you shove food in and you pull, some of these hairs apart, and you need to put them back together. But if you twisted them, it makes it a little harder.
Yeah, I agree completely with what you said. My right side is always going into my mouth.
Yeah. And that's where waxing it can definitely help, because you start to form a routine. It's more or less for your benefit as much as it is your mustache, to start getting in the habit, because you might wake up one morning and be like, oh, I'm a little late. I can't wax it. Well, then put a beard oil in, put a beard balm in, and then blow dry and brush it back, and just go with a natural, let it flow. And it might be messy. It might be a windy day. You just be like, hey, that's going to happen. It's not going to be perfect. No matter what you do, or if you spend 3 hours on it. I can style mine up, and then I play with it pretty much all day, right? And the more I talk, this might come a little loose, or these little hairs might come a little loose. I was doing a live on TikTok one time doing a shaping, and somebody in the crowd was like, can you get those hairs in the middle already? And I'm like, I will get to them. Just relax. I'm not done. So this is the part where I usually just clean up my hands. I'll go take the dogs out. I'll put pants on, right?
As you should.
Yeah. So, what I like to do is, let's see, what side is my microphone? So if you can hear that firmness and see that me pushing in, it's not giving, right? I had to scrape it out and I had to rub it. So I'm wanting it to return to that room temperature consistency. And that's something too people need to realize is, if you put wax on and your house is 70 degrees and it's 400 degrees outside, it might soften up. So if you have like an English and you go outside and it's 104 degrees and you stand in the sun, look at me, I'm English, it's going to sag a little bit. There are things you can do, like use a medium wax to create a base shape, maybe go over it with a stronger wax in small, tiny layers, only warming it a little so that it sets a little faster. Or pick a style that's not going to be like out here to where, the weight is going to bring it down.
Or an umbrella hat. That works too.
You could. I don't think I've seen anybody with one.
Oh, you
so sometimes
lived.
I will, between stages 1 and 2, I'll run a comb through, because what I've done basically, if this is my mustache hair, I've applied wax like this, right?
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily get any wax in here, maybe. So depending on how my mustache is reacting, and this wax is sticking together really well. If it wasn't, I might run a comb through, and what that does is it spreads the wax. So then I pinch it back together and maybe put on another 2 small coats. But right now it's looking pretty good.
Wait, Dagan, you have a mouth?
Yeah, like, you still got a mouth? They're like, how do you drink of something? And I'm like, I still have a mouth,
So while you continue, Sean asks if you're ever short on time, what do you do? Because
maintenance day.
Okay.
So what is a maintenance day? That is a beard oil, right? I'm trying to figure out where the camera and the label is, or like a beard butter or beard balm. Put those in, and this is a leave-in conditioner. This you rub on the base of the skin, and or on the skin and the base of the hair, and I would go outward. Then this goes on the top, and then you cover both sides. You do a maintenance day. Now, if you have more time, I would have to do a whole nother section on how I use rollers, but I typically do that with a beard oil and a beard balm while it's wet, let it air dry. But I roll it a certain way for like an hour, then take it out and then re-roll it. And I do that for like a half hour, and it, has a very beautiful natural like look. And then you could hit it up with a little hairspray if you want. I'm going to rinse my hands off because I was touching beard oil. And what is mustache wax? Oil soluble. That's why, you were mentioning earlier, be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
I mean, for the last 2 years, we've lived in an environment where everyone's washing the heck out of their hands or using hand sanitizer. So, don't be playing with your facial hair. If you have hand sanitizer, it's going to dry out your skin and your facial hair.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're eating, I'll tell you what, if you style up like this and you have French fries with a bunch of salt on them, the salt will somehow find its way in between the hairs. And I'm still combing out sugar from a very sugary donut I ate, like 3 years ago. I just could not get all the sugar out.
Oh,
so I was like, watch me eat this donut like this. And then my mustache came apart. And I'm like, oh, crap.
That's Aldemir's flavor saver right there. See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Bob's roller technique is awesome.
Yeah, I learned part of it from Mr. Stash Rolls out of the UK, and it's basically the first go, the hair goes on top, and I roll it, which is called the back method, roll it towards my face, and then I rotate it, and what that does is that angles the hairs towards, your cheek. Then I put the roller on top of the hair, roll it back, and rotate it as well for half the amount of time. That makes it go forward, so that balance kind of keeps it upright. The smaller the roller, the longer I've had the curls, the tighter curls stay together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's been about 5 minutes, right? So you can see it has firmed up pretty well. I mean, it's a little loose in here, but you have to expect that. I've been talking this whole time. If I drink, I'm a vapor, and so I'm expelling oils, a little bit in the breath. So, but that's why I keep going back to the center. So now I'm just going to get less than what I used last time. And this time I'm only going to rub it a little bit because I want it to be tackier.
A little more firm.
Yeah, and I want it to be able to firm up faster. Now, see how I'm pinching down here, not super hard, just kind of holding it. And if these fingers were tacky, and I'm holding in here and I make a beautiful mustache. See how it just came apart? That was because this hand is still tacky.
Okay.
And I don't want that to happen over here. Using my nail, trying to do this. Now an Imperial might go down and they go up like this through like a point, like that. So when it went all the way up here, it wasn't a good Imperial.
That's crazy.
It was too long. I like my mustache.
The shape you can get from there is just that Nike swish you got going on right now.
Oh yeah.
That's just crazy how you can get that shape in there.
Right.
Oh, I love hand shaping. There are a couple tools I have. I've got a comb that's got a tapered end that I can roll the mustache up and it creates these beautiful open curls. Okay. So that's one on this side, but if I had to guess, this side won't be as thick through here. So I may have to drop that down and I'll work on that point right there a little bit. And then 6 hours later, I'll be like, I'm going to tweak a little bit more. So, all right, I'm going to grab a little bit more. Just a little bit, a little rubbing.
So we do have another question. How long does a tin of wax last you?
When I'm styling every day, a 1 ounce tin was lasting me about 3 to 3.5 weeks.
And that's a 1 ounce tin, you said?
Yeah, I believe that's what it was, a 1 ounce tin. And so my mustaches, yeah, because I have multiple. Look at that. Oh, the eyebrows and mustache. No, the sides of my mustache are just like everybody else's, and like in beards, they will grow at different rates. And I found, because you might look at it and go, oh man, it's not the same size. I need to trim it up. You can hide it with waxes. Oh, look at that. Those don't even look alike. Let me shape it. And that's what I'll do is, one side's a little thicker, but not as long. One side's longer, but thinner. And I can just do like that. It's too thick right here.
So it's definitely a game of patience, I see.
Yeah.
Like any routine or, the growing a beard, growing a mustache, same thing.
I'm all like tweaking my head.
I know. It's fun to watch this and to see how this look comes together,
So for most people, we don't have this type of dedication to style our mustaches like this. However, if we did, how long does Sean's asking us, how long does a tin of wax last you? It feels like more than, like he says, it feels like this is more wax than he's ever used before.
It's actually not that much wax. I mean, I've used this probably 4 or 5 times. And I don't know if you can see that because it's light color.
Yeah.
It's pretty shiny.
But yeah, I've used maybe a quarter of this out of say 4 times. But I tend to sometimes go a little bit heavy in the beginning. And you don't have to do your mustache like this. I've been told it looks fake. It looks, plastic. I've had people ask me, is that thing real? Yeah, it's real.
I like it.
Just a tiny bit more. And I'm going to go back, try to get these loose hairs. And I've got the wax here and here. I'm trying not to pull too hard. I know this part's going to loosen up a little bit. If I were to go to work and drink my gallon of water.
I'm sure a lot of this is just finding that how you make that style and how you pinch your fingers together and how you work that into the mustache to get that style and just working with that and building a routine of doing the same thing every time. Is that right, Bob?
The basics. And by that, I mean dry, combing it. the way I apply the wax. Like I said, if I'm going to do an English, I will comb it a little different. I will start bringing it up and out. And I do this technique where I take the hair and I start forming a cone like this.
Okay.
You know, and I don't want to twist it. I'll form a cone so it's thicker here and then it goes out to a point. And then the hard part for me is if it's like this. And I've had that happen where I'm trying to do it in English and it starts out like this. And I'm like, nope. And, you know, I got to run a comb through it. But this one I really like to do. And sometimes I'll plan to do it. And one side will just either want to tip really far forward and the other side wants to go back. And I try to combat it.
So I'm going to ask this question. Chris asks, has anyone asked, or how come no one's asked, why don't you grow the whole beard? And you have. When did that change, Bob?
So in 2018, I was dared at work to grow a beard for a year. I did that. I liked it. I was going to compete. Then COVID hit. And so all the competitions got pushed out. They were going to do like September 2020. Then I got into August and they're like, yeah, we don't know when our competitions are going to happen. So I was getting basically told like, all right, it's time for the beard to come off. I was like, I'm going to rock a mustache for at least 3 weeks. I've never had one this big, you know, before I shave it all off. So I took the beard off and I'm like, wow, I have a big mustache. And then all of a sudden, like my DMs were blowing up like, dude, man, we saw your mustache. Can we send you some wax to try? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then they were like, hey, have you heard of this national competition? I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. We'll pay your fees. And I'm like, I'll do it then. And that's where this trophy came from. First time ever competing in a national competition. We did it online. And I about fell out of the seat when they announced my name as the winner. So, and then since then I was like, you know, I'd like to see more people with mustaches.
And now you're growing to be the world mustache ambassador. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
the mustache had helped me open a door to spark interest or questions. And that's my biggest goal is I don't care if I get 10 million or 100 million views on a video. If somebody asks me like, hey, I've got a mustache, when should I trim it? And I'm like, oh, you know, do this. Or, hey, I've been washing it with, you know, anti-dandruff shampoo and it's really itchy and dry. What should I be doing? And so that's really helped me a whole lot. Is this has gotten the door open to a lot of people. They're like, I could never grow one like you. I'm like, you know, I thought that too until I committed to a year and then found out suddenly I had, you know, mustache genes.
Right.
It may have shortened my life by 20 years, but you know, this mustache is worth it, right? Like when women give birth, they lose, you know, part of their life because they're giving so much to create this baby. So I think I did that with this mustache.
Absolutely. That was a great, like, dude. That was amazing. I really appreciate that. And I can guarantee everyone that was in here at the beginning got a really good introduction on how to, like I said, I had no idea that's how much wax you were supposed to use. Like, truthfully, I had no idea.
Yeah, a pea size. The part I did on the fourth pass is you just start in the middle and you work it in. And then, you know, you take a look and maybe you run a comb through and you pinch the hairs together, maybe hook your finger in. I see a lot of guys do that and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with making all the hair stick outward like that, you know?
Yeah. So Vato just says, do you have a picture of when you had a beard?
I was trying to find it on IG here.
I do. So it's on Instagram.
Yeah, because he's got
on TikTok, I have a playlist called Bare Braided Bearded. Because I've had my mustache and my beard braided. I have pictures without the mustache. I look more like that with, you know, without the ears. But plus I have the beard itself. And my beard was down here. And from what I understand, it was like a unicorn. It was a blonde beard. And I probably would have done really well. It was wavy, straight hair, but it was wavy. I mean, I loved it. But I was just another guy with a beard until I did my mustache. So I became the fork and the spoon drawer versus the fork and the fork drawer.
Do you care if I share this really quick, Tyson?
Go ahead.
Not at all.
I do have new stickers. Look at that. That's what 250 stickers of awesomeness look like.
So cool.
So there's Bearded Bob right there. There's a few pictures.
That one
on the
right, that's around 10 months.
Okay.
So you just got some facial hair genes, man.
It didn't come in until I was in my 40s. I had really patchy facial hair until I hit my 40s.
Very nice. So there you go, Vato.
I used to rock a sweet double braid.
Yeah, I can't braid myself. So, like, my older daughter was home from college, and I was like, can you braid up my beard? Maybe she hadn't go to college yet, but she braided up my mustache.
So Chris has a long beard. I know you had one. Casey has one. There's some people in this chat right now that have some epic beards, and I would love to be able to have that little Viking look and be able to do stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool.
You can, but it does put a little more tension on the skin. So if you can do a bigger braid, it's not supposed to. I had like little tight braids, and I had the Viking beads put in it.
Oh, so that's cool.
And then I pillaged the next county over, and I was like, yeah, I got to take them out.
But
this dude's genes kidnapped all of ours.
Right?
Be careful what you wish for. Everybody's like, how do I get more hair faster? I'm like, dude, I get hair on my ears now. I got to shave my nose. I always got to keep these from connecting, or else they'll take over my face.
So I was talking to Chris beforehand, and him and I have been working on a particular wash. And so Bob, I hope this doesn't distract from everyone or from you, but I want to hurry and ask everyone if we were to do a scented wash out of one of our oils, what scent would you guys prefer, or what would you like? Whether it be anglers or pulleys or nightfall or something of that nature. Just kind of curious what you guys think.
You already said it. You said it the first time. The first one, angler.
The sweet cream one is the one I have.
Yes, that soap is crazy good. Yeah. I want to eat it.
I've always said that Angler's Code could work in several different areas. I mean, it could work as a lotion. It could work as several different. I mean, that scent is so neutral on how you can wear it. I mean, it would work as a shower scent as well, definitely.
Yeah. But Bob, while everyone's answering, do you have anything else to say? Or by the way, are you coming to Utah in June for the Nationals? The other Nationals, there's two, I guess.
Well,
Snowbird?
In June, most likely not. I mean, because Nationals is going to be in Wyoming.
Yeah.
In November. There's one in the UK I'd like to get to in August, and then Worlds is in Germany in February. So I'm like, I want to make it to all of them, but I got to take time off from work, and then I'm like kicking some of the sponsors like, hey, if you want to represent me, what can you do for me? So trying to get out there. I mean, if I had to only choose one, I think I'd go to Worlds because I've done 2 Nationals. But if I can swing it to get out to Nationals in November and then go to Germany, I would love to. I got a lot of people that are like, if you can make it to the UK, I will travel out to see you. People from Ireland and Scotland and Norway, Finland, Germany.
Have you done a world competition yet? Did you say? No, you haven't. Okay.
No. The last Worlds was like 2017 in Texas, and that's before I started growing a beard.
Okay.
And they had it in Belgium the last time, I think right before COVID hit. So
Dagan made me laugh. He goes, I also got to trim my eyebrows, nose hair, ears hair. If I didn't have bushy brows, I could braid all my ear hair.
Yeah. I can do an eyebrow comb over if I don't take care of it.
So that picture that you showed on IG, go to his Instagram, Dagan's Instagram, and that's him. I'm not being sarcastic. Your beard 10 months in is what Dagan looks like.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, you guys have some crazy genetics.
Yeah, I'm really tired.
You're getting really tired? Okay. The boss is saying we got to wrap it up here.
Yep. No, that's what I was about to say. That's why I wanted to.
But thanks for being on the show, guys.
All right. So I'm saying thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll be out there in like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
When you end the live, I want you to quickly go upstairs. You should see this white rabbit toy and
okay. Oh yeah, the white rabbit toy.
He's chocolate scented, so you might.
It's chocolate scented.
Mostly on the head.
Yeah.
I want you to be able. I want
Okay, I will. All right, I'll be right out. Bye, everybody.
Fudge says bye. Fudge is my little toy rabbit.
That's a wrap.
Okay.
All right. Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Me share this
Thank you
experience
very much.
and showcase the polys. That's what I use tonight. I call this, in my opinion, as far as like the hold, is a medium to medium strong. Okay. It does very well. I love the fact I can scrape it out, rub it between my fingers. And I mean, this is the end result with what? Basically 4 passes and then a tiny bit to just do up the ends. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think I could totally take a first place with this.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe if we did like this, so all you saw was the mustache. Right? So,
well, you're always styled. You got styled hairdo, and you've got a good look. So
I'm trying to do like a 1910, 1890 type look, because that's when big mustaches were in with the bare knuckle boxers, not the 70s porn stash. You know, I'm trying to like, no, we need to go back a little bit further. So.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Talk about your things, your stickers, then we can take off for you.
Yeah, so I carry these on me now. You'd be surprised how many people I run into. They're like, "You're that dude from TikTok that I follow." I'm like, "Yes," and you're that guy that follows me. Thank you. And then we usually do like a little video together. But I always tell them, like, if you see me, I carry some of these on me, and you got to ask for them, right?
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Bob, I appreciate you. Appreciate giving us the time, especially when your daughter is wanting it. So, I learned a ton personally, and I know there's a lot of us here in the chat that did. So, again, thank you, and appreciate your time.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was my pleasure. Thank you for all the great questions, and then letting me do what I love to do the most, which is look at me. I'm looking at me the whole time.
Thank you, everyone in chat.
Have a great night, guys. Thanks.
All right, thank you guys. Yeah, bye-bye. I'm gonna go.